We are back in the paint,
Yes, we are.
and somebody pulled up on us.
We do have another person in the paint with us tonight. So I
Somebody pulled
will,
up to the paint, Maddie.
yeah. So, I mean, it's exciting stuff to have another person up in the paint, another
Mm.
perspective, and another person that we can crash out with because we obviously had to crash out today. So I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself and give a little bit about him, and then we'll kind of get going.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Maddie. Tink, thanks for letting me join both of you ladies, as you like to say, in the paint with
In the paint.
in the paint with Heels in the Paint. I'm excited. I'm Chris. I don't really know how to explain myself. Really, if you've ever been on maybe social media in the UNC world, you might have come by my work. I cover UNC, graduate of UNC, have a wife, kiddo. Uh,
Woo-hoo.
Big time Tar Heel fan as well, and love doing this. Love getting on the mic and talking some hoops. Oops, sorry. Hey, look at this.
What does
No.
this
Is
say?
it focusing?
Hey, we're busy.
Of course.
Of course. So none other than the man himself, Linzel, trying to
Yep.
trying to call me. Apologize about that. I think I have him.
You good.
I actually have it do not disturb. So I think I actually have him where he can bypass that.
Yeah.
So he should feel honored. But yeah, I'm not sure how to other than that introduce myself. Like I said, if you've been on social media and you follow Carolina sports, I cover UNC and I have a lot of fun doing it. It's one of my passions, and excited to talk some basketball tonight with y'all.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for coming. I had the pleasure of hanging out with Chris this past weekend at
Let's
the UNC
go.
game, and appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you for the
Yeah.
tips and the experience. We had a great time. We had a great time. I'm
Yeah,
glad they won, even though they played like crap. I'm glad they won.
it's always good to be in Chapel Hill. I live about 20-25 minutes out from Chapel Hill. So I basically, like if you're in the triangle, like and you're 20 minutes
Yeah.
outside of Chapel Hill, unless that's kind of like
Mhm.
Durham, right? But like I do life in Chapel Hill on a regular basis. Love Chapel Hill, Franklin Street.
Mhm.
It's always a good time to be back, regardless if it's a win or loss. Of course, it's always better when it's a win. Awesome weekend was there, with you, Tink, and Linzel and his friend as well. His name
Yeah.
is slipping my mind right
Kareem.
now. Kareem, yeah, it was nice to meet him. So we did like the Peebles prior to that, then watched the
Yeah.
game, which was rather interesting because like yesterday's game like resembled that game. I felt like a little
It
bit and
really
how they
did.
how they both came out and played, and then went to the girls' game yesterday. If you really know, like a lot of, I guess to introduce myself a little bit better, like if you know me and you're close to me, like yes, like in Carolina, what nation, I guess you could say, might cringe to this a little bit, but like I love women's basketball, somewhat maybe more than men's. Definitely when it comes to just experience in the team, definitely in the portal area that we are in now, it's really hard to fall in love with that special player, right?
Gotcha.
So like I've been really focusing on falling in love and remembering the name that's on front of the jersey, right? Which is
Right.
right, which is North Carolina. And
Absolutely.
like going to the women's games to me it's a blast
Yeah.
because like you're there, you're immersive. If you're in the lower bowl, all the girls afterwards, they go around the arena and clapping. It's just a good experience for all
Mhm.
fans, and so I love being a part of the women's program and supporting them in that way.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I always say that women, as far as the skill set, that women's basketball is better because women's basketball is fundamental. Like, if you want to watch basketball, you want to learn how to watch women's basketball because fundamentally, women are more is fundamentally
Yep.
sound. Yeah, they focus on the fundamentals versus because you're not gonna always see a dunk. You're not gonna always see a crazy highlight in a women's game all the time because again, it's they're just fundamentally perfect just about. So
Yeah.
I get it though. But we appreciate you coming in. We're gonna
Yeah,
let
thanks for
Maddie
having
get
me.
her crash out on after this Louisville
Yeah.
game. What we tell them, Maddie? What did we tell them they were supposed to do?
I'm gonna say what I say every freaking episode. Free throws, free throws, free throws. You would have made the free throws, we would have won the game. There would have been no OT. Period. We would not be dropping in the rankings the next day.
Yeah.
Free throws and turnovers.
I mean, I don't know, like it's okay. I understand to miss one because your nerves or whatever, but to miss both,
We shot
like, and
50.
they weren't even close. That's the crazy part. Like they were both bricks. Like, come on now.
Chris, I really wish my phone was going off and she's on my phone like, she did not miss both of these. She didn't do this. She did not miss both.
I know.
And
It was
the emoji that she, and the gift that she sent, I showed it to we were screaming. I was like, look what she just sent me.
Yeah. I was excited to do this episode, honestly, not because we lost, but just because I knew it'd be an interesting episode to break down. I don't know how I keep up with y'all, of course, and watching episodes.
Yeah.
So do we do this free for all, or do y'all
We
like
just
ask
free
me
for all today,
questions?
baby.
Free for all. You
Free
just
for
say
all?
whatever
Free
you
for
want
all.
to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I got something for you, right? So I was thinking about that game on the way home, and I found myself in that game yesterday in Carmichael, just like frustrated.
Yeah.
For multiple facets of reasons, right? First, I'll start with the crowd. I was very disappointed in the crowd size. Top 25 matchup. Regardless if they had not had a top 25 win yet, the crowd was mediocre. The ones that were there were live, but I just encourage everybody that lives in the Chapel Hill area, right? I know it's Sunday, games at 4, kids need to be at school the next day, bedtime, whatever. It's still 4 o'clock, 2 hours max, even in overtime, right?
Right.
Get there if you can, man. It's an awesome experience. And I think it could have made a potential difference to have at least a little bit more people there. But I was also frustrated. I mean, I got like 10 ways of being frustrated, but as I was driving home, there was another game last year around the same time, and they were only a day difference apart from each other. December 15th last year. So it would have been on today, right? Of last year. They played Georgia Tech. It was a loss. So think about this. Georgia Tech came into Chapel Hill. They're ranked 25th.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
But Carolina, they started off fast, right? And then after that first quarter, I believe they scored like 31. I can't remember right in that first quarter, and then just fell apart the rest of the way. And so it was like flipped, right? Of how it was from yesterday. It felt like, but it just felt like there was no energy. The team was not gelling. I told Anna, my wife, as we were at dinner afterwards at 140 Social on Franklin Street, it just felt like they had still just like ate another meal for Thanksgiving, right? Even though it's December, and had a food hangover the next day. But it reminded me for a lot of reasons, and I'll share this just a little bit more. So like last year's game against Georgia Tech, December 15th, right? So they had coming off basically a week of exams, and we can talk about that later because I got my issues kind of with that excuse, what felt like from Bankart in the post conference yesterday. When they came into Chapel Hill, and Georgia Tech won, UNC was ranked 14th, right? And Georgia Tech came away with a score of 82-76 in that game. But Carolina was down at the half, 34-50 in that game, and they did not wake up till the fourth, scoring a total of 31, but could put enough together to come away with that win. But in that game, that was in that game last night. They only scored 9 points in that second quarter. So I just felt like. I just felt like this team, I felt like the effort was there. They just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know how other than to put it. I don't like questioning teams' efforts, but it just felt like the scheme, the fit, the preparedness, it just wasn't there. And we can go ahead and touch on it now if y'all want. Looking in the post conference, Bankart talked about exams, and I get it, right? I know that as well. Carolina's hard. It's hard.
Let me tell you something. I was ready to quit.
Yep.
It ain't easy. It is not easy. So yeah, you're right on that, Chris. Like it is not.
Yeah. And
that's so if it's you can use it as a valid excuse. So I mean,
yes, but I say, like, to me, it's not an excuse because in this day and age, unless you're a walk-on or something like that, they're all student athletes. This is all they do, and sleeping, schooling, and balling. And so not being prepared because of exams or low energy to me is Knicks, because Louisville, I looked it up. Their exams are mostly the week prior to this week,
Yep.
but they still had to travel.
That's what I was about to say. They're traveling.
So to me, that kind of like nixed out those two things there.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think, I mean, I understand, like, obviously schoolwork's hard, tests are hard, you have to prepare. However, you can't use that as a cop out if you don't win a game. Like, you can, because if the roles were reversed, we would have won that game. Would she mention that still? Probably not. She only said that because we lost. And it reminds me not to talk about volleyball, but yesterday in Nebraska, obviously I'm from Nebraska, so they lost in volleyball yesterday. And the coach immediately was like, our setter was sick, this and this and this. I'm like, you would have never mentioned that if we didn't lose this match. Like, you would never say that. You're just trying to make an excuse.
Yeah.
That's all I hear is an excuse, is why you didn't win because of XYZ. Just own it and say, we didn't make free throws. We turned the ball over too much. Why don't you just say that? That's why you lost, not because you had to study for your exams.
I didn't understand at the end, even with India missing those free throws, they had 2 fouls to give.
Yep.
2 fouls. India missed the free throws. We still had the lead. You allow a player to get the ball not just past half court, but to the basket and shot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't she fouled as soon as she got the ball? You had 2 fouls to give, and all you had to do was allow some time to run off. A little bit of time to run off the clock. That's all you had. It was what, 10 seconds, maybe less?
There was less than 10 seconds.
You had two fouls to give. I don't. So, yes, India messed up by missing the free throws. That's the big issue. And we can get into that in a little bit, but because shooting 50% as a team, they shot 58% from field goal. And the entire season, the free throws, I'm sorry. The free throw shooting percentage has not been it all season across the board. Free throws and turnovers have been astronomical and has been a huge problem in the losses, and even in some of the wins, they have way too many turnovers and they miss way too many free throws. So yes, we can say that, India should have made those free throws. Absolutely. Because I said from day one, the beginning of the season, I needed Renaya Kelly, who has let me down this season, but she's injured. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, maybe a little bit. But I said India also had to be one that stepped up. And thus far she has up until that game. Up until that game. Yeah, she has. She stepped up. But even with her missing those free throws, there's still no reason why we still should have lost that game.
Well, even after because we had the ball at a point and then somebody dribbled it off their foot. That was another turnover that gave them the ball back.
And just as Chris said, they looked unprepared. But they didn't just look unprepared in that sequence. They looked that way the entire game. I don't know what, I'm watching the game and I'm wondering, what offense are we running? And do we have, because it looks like we are a transition team, a team that can score really well off of transition baskets. But if someone shuts that down and we got to set up half court, we look like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
That is where when a team looks unprepared, then my question then is going to be, because again, I play basketball. I watch a lot of basketball. My question then is going to be, what are you doing in practice? Because how you look on the court is probably how you look in practice. Have you ever heard, Chris, them say, if you miss you see a team and maybe they play in a tournament or whatever, and they didn't get a chance to practice for whatever reason, they cancel practice, and then they play a game that next day, and you say, this looks like a team that did not practice the day before.
Right. Yeah, I think going to that, I think those are all great points. Not to transition, but to dive into that a little bit more. It just felt like, and Bankart did touch on this a little bit in her post game, and I would, if I was in there, I'd love to ask her some ask her some questions back around that. Talking about they didn't look like they looked like they were unprepared, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but it felt like a rotational issue. And if you look at the box score, and minutes average plays, you have one of the top freshmen in the country that's been averaging 18 minutes per game come in and only average 8 minutes.
Yeah. Nyla Brooks.
She only scored 3 points, and she played by a long shot. She played the least amount of minutes. So to me,
Yes.
when you have a player that's been counted on, throughout the season to make buckets, and she's done that, not play, I mean, basically cut in half your playing time. That's a
Yeah.
rotational thing these
That's a
players
problem.
aren't used to, and you have a week off, and then like that's the rotational that ends up happening. And
Yep.
it was just really strange. The post conference remarks by Bankart said, I didn't like some reporter asked her that question. I apologize if they're going to listen to this episode. I can't remember the reporter that asked this question, but it was great because they asked, why did Nyla Brooks only have 8 minutes? And Bankart said, I didn't like some of the things I saw early on from Nyla Brooks. And I was like, well, Nyla Brooks is one of the most talented players on this roster. Why would you not, this early in the season, even it is a ranked opponent in the first ACC game of the season, why wouldn't you want a freshman like that to learn early on how to work her way through that, coach her up on the sidelines, get her back in there? Because, she was 1 for 6, 1 for 5 for threes,
That's what I was
only
about to
3
say.
points, 8 minutes. Why wouldn't you use this as a teaching moment? Because
Absolutely.
Bankart said in the presser, like, hey, we want these types of games to happen early on in the season, not later in the season. Well, don't you want this situation with Nyla Brooks to happen early in the season, not late in the season, and help her work through this?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, they play two different roles, Renaya Kelly and Nyla Brooks, but Renaya Kelly played 27 minutes, 2 points came from the free throw line and was 0 for 7. And only offered 4 assists out of 27 minutes.
Come on.
So was that not an issue? Like, it doesn't, like, it just didn't make it makes me wonder, and I'm not trying to put some speculation out there. Is there something else going on?
But to add to that, Chris, then you have my friend now. I'm gonna say friend because we follow each other on Instagram. So we besties now. I said it and we're besties. She don't know it yet, but yeah, we're besties. Me, her, and the incoming player, Noel, we're besties now because we follow each other on Instagram. So yeah, we're besties.
I like it.
But Talia Henderson, baby, listen, I gotta shout out my friend. 5 for 5. 3 for 3 from 3.
Yep.
And she hits the 3 that gives us the lead. We go into overtime. And you start your regular starting 5. And you don't put Talia. You don't put her. She would have been in the game when OT started because she was hot. So you sit her for 6 minutes. You sit her towards the end, and then you don't put her back in until like what? The end of OT? After India had turned the ball over, what, 2?
Yep.
More times? 2, 3 more times? So that's another question that I'm with you. I'm with you, Chris. What something else is going on? What else is going on?
There has to be something because none of this ever adds up to me because I look at the box score and I'm like, I see XYZ players, and if what you just said about, I didn't like what I saw from her the first couple, well, I don't like what I saw from Renaya every single game almost. So why is she still get the amount of minutes she gets then? So the logic isn't there. So there has to be something else that we just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't understand a game this early in the season. Why, as a coaching staff, that's one has been a successful head coach, I believe. They brought her in this year, right? And one that was a high regarded assistant came from ECU. His wife, I believe, is the head coach. East Carolina. Why wouldn't you use that early in the game to get Nyla Brooks out of the game and coach her up on the side and then get her back in to help her work from that? Like I said, at that overtime period, I'm with you. Talia Henderson should have been in the game. right? And then maybe that's why at the end of the game they were 0 for 7 from the floor. Didn't make a shot in
They
overtime.
make not one shot in
Not one
overtime.
shot, no points.
No points.
Terrible.
Indy Navarre was forcing the ball, forcing the plays. Almost felt like she was trying to take over the game, and it just wasn't working.
She was.
And Jade, there's a guy on Twitter I follow. We're Twitter friends. I still call it Twitter. I just can't call it X. But his name's Jade, and he listed this out. And he said in the last 6 minutes of the game, Navarre goes 0 for 2 from the line. UNC fouls with 0.4 seconds left, allows Louisville to send it to overtime at the line. Careless turnover, missed layup, unnecessary foul, in bonus. Louisville hits both the free throws. Takes more than one player to lose a whole game. UNC went 0 for 7 field goal in overtime, but it sure as hell felt like her head wasn't in the game at all in overtime.
It wasn't. And I'm watching in overtime and I'm looking like now, Chris, Maddie knows it's about me. But you may not find another woman that loves basketball more than me. To the point to where when I see bad basketball, I'm like this close from having an anxiety attack. Like I panic and I'm texting Maddie. What the F are they doing?
Yep.
What are we doing? Like I crash out. I can't stand really bad basketball. Oh God, irritates me. And so I'm watching this game in overtime and I'm like, what are we doing? Why is India still like from what you said that Coach Banghart said in the press conference? If you're saying that you didn't like what you saw from Nyla Brooks, how could you like what you saw from India? And I had a bit of a flashback from when, and this is, I don't want to knock Deja Kelly because I mean, she did great when she was at UNC. But when Deja Kelly was there, it's almost like you wanted to put everything on. I felt like everything was like thrown on Deja. Like everything ran through her. And it wasn't great because there were times where she wasn't the best player on the floor at that time. Not to say she's not a great player because she is. But in that game yesterday, India was not the best player on the floor at all. Mm-hmm. So why do you keep allowing the offense to go through her when you have a Talia Henderson that has showed you that she ain't missing? She didn't miss a shot.
No.
So yeah, I had that flashback. I was like, please don't let this be one of them seasons where you're gonna put the offense through one person and kind of rely on one person to be the savior. And that can be a lot of pressure. That can be a lot of pressure. Now, India also herself may take it on because I also know how it is to be a ball player. I also know how it feels to be a competitor. If you feel like you might have that feeling like, hey, I got to do this. I can't let my team down. And you will mean well, but it just may not work out well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I think looking, and not to, to kind of like repeat the same thing, but I kind of feel like, and it's hard to say that because you don't really know it would turn out like this, but I feel like if Nyla Brooks was allowed is the key word there to help work through that,
it could have been different.
I feel like it potentially could have been different because if you look at Lainey Grant, she played 42 minutes, and that was something that I noticed yesterday when I was watching her run up and down the court. She looked exhausted.
Yeah.
And so talk about that's not adding up to me either when you said they had low energy coming out of exams, but one of your best players, promising freshmen on the team, only plays 8 minutes, regardless if you didn't like what you saw or not.
Yeah. She played. Yeah, she did. She played 42. That's pretty much the whole game.
I mean, the two most efficient players on the court, someone would say Sierra Toomey, Nyla Harris, 4 for 5, 24 minutes. Yeah. And then also Henderson, only 19 minutes, 5 for 5, 3 for 3, missed 2 free throws.
Yeah. What I don't understand, the same with Arnasalo. 23 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 8.
So really from a field goal percentage wise, the two that were most efficient last night One played 24 minutes and one played 19 minutes.
Yep.
But the ones that were less efficient got
Played
more
more.
minutes. And pardon me. And yes, that can be related to, different positions. They play different positions, things like that. But that was a game I wanted to win so bad just because I'm
I
not a
think they
Jeff
needed it.
Walls fan. I sit like right beside the visitor bench in a lower bowl, and watching him coach is so frustrating. He's a great coach. He's built an amazing program year in and year out. But if
Yeah.
there is someone in a coaching world that is going to find something to complain about, even when the call was going his way, he is going to complain about it. And I don't know if you could hear it. I don't know if you could hear it on the TV,
I
but
couldn't, but I
in
can
the
see it.
in the arena, he slammed his foot so hard on the floor that you heard it throughout, and the crowd started booing at him because he was fussing at one of his players. And I think he called himself of what was happening, and he brought her close and kissed her on the cheek.
What I saw that. He was letting her have it, but in that moment though, I appreciated what he was saying to her. That was actually a great coaching moment. It wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
what she did wrong. It was he wanted to let her know, hey, look, you didn't need to pick up your dribble that far out. Like you pick it up over there, they're gonna trap you here, and then it's gonna end. I'm gonna have to call a timeout, or it's gonna result in a turnover if you don't get a foul, and likely it's gonna be the turnover if they don't call a timeout. So I get what you're saying, and he was like letting her know, and most was like, I mean, they're winning. Why is he acting? No. That was a good moment to let her know.
Sure.
Hey, look, for future reference,
Exactly.
don't pick this dribble up all the way out here.
He's definitely got a very aggressive coaching style, and I'm fine with that. I have no issues with aggressive coaching styles. I just have a lot of issues like when you're live at a game, right, and you see a coach just continuing to complain to the refs over and over and over and over, even when the call is going their way, when the side judge was literally telling him to do this. Relax. It's your call. You got the call. Calm down.
Like chill. Yeah.
And then, Banghart is over there just,
don't.
That's her stress moment. Like when she gets mad with the refs, she goes like this. And I'm just like, show some, like, get in there.
There's nothing.
Do you know the game before this one? She didn't call a single timeout.
It sounds like Hubert. I know this is a women's basketball, but there's a lot of correlations going on. Bad free throw shooting.
There's a lot of correlations between the two coaching staffs.
But at least Hubert will call a timeout during the game.
Yeah.
What game was it? It was a Texas game. What is it in the Texas game, Matt?
Yeah, she didn't call any timeouts. She
didn't call a single time. They went on a run. Like even when we lost the lead in that game, had she called a timeout? Because a lot of times it's either if the refs are not calling a lot of fouls. In the Texas game, they didn't really call a lot of fouls initially. You have to call a because they're not going to call nothing until the immediate timeout.
Yep.
They're going to be running up and down. She didn't call a timeout. They lost the lead. And I'm like, you do know that they don't roll over to the next game. They don't roll over to the next game.
Yeah.
Right. I don't understand.
I mean, you could have used those timeouts to coach Nyla Brooks up, maybe.
But exactly. That, like, I don't understand what the use of not using the timeouts is for. Like, especially in that Texas game, it really made me mad because we literally had just lost the lead and it was like a 2-point game at that point. You could have called timeout, but instead they get up like 8 to 10 points, and then now the game's almost over because you didn't call one timeout just to settle them.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the Texas coach called a timeout. They didn't even need to call one, but they called one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Looking at this game, I really hope, when it comes to NCAA time, that this is not a Q1 loss that you're saying this is why we didn't get in.
Ooh.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think talent-wise, we're the better team.
Yeah.
And it's a game we could have we could have won, but it just didn't go our way, and for a lot of reasons. But it's a game that it moves the Carolina girls to 0-3 against top 25 matchups.
Yeah,
and Louisville moves to 2-0 in the ACC, and Carolina moves to 0-1. It's very, very early.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
very
really
early.
hope potentially. Usually, Jeff has good squads, and his team's only going to get better,
Yes.
right? And all the other teams are going to as well. Hopefully, you
Mhm.
would think, or not hopefully, but you would think, right? And so I really hope this at the end of the season, you're not looking back on the schedule and saying that was the win we needed.
Yeah. So let me ask this, Chris. Since we this was the first ACC game for the Heels, for the Lady Heels, where do you see this team landing in the ACC? Because initially I was kind of high on them,
Yep.
but I have a question mark, and my question mark is due to almost like a lack of discipline that they don't necessarily have, and like you said, the unpreparedness. So I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. But where do you see them landing in the ACC this season?
Let me see here. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the ACC this year.
Yeah. There's
You
a lot
know,
of good teams.
like you know, right down the road, closer to where you are. Tink, you got a Wake Forest team that's 1-0. You
Mhm,
know, 10-2,
mhm.
right? Overall, very quiet, been very sneaky.
Yep.
So I would love to see how they continue to progress over the season when they get into the heart of the ACC. You got Louisville that looks good. You know, you've got Syracuse that's undefeated at home at 7-0.
Yeah.
Only lost one game on the year. Stanford looks good as always. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm not sure about Notre Dame yet. I'd like to see them play a little bit more, but 8-2, on the year. Um, I don't know, man. It's really hard to really to really digest that. I think State potentially is going to get better, and I also believe Duke's going to figure it out. You would think, maybe not. I hope not, of course, but right now I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
Yeah.
any
The
anywhere between 7 and 3,
yeah.
between like that third and seventh spot. I think
Okay.
seven is the worst case scenario for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
That's like
3 is the best.
everything's crashing and burning. I'll hop on an episode and crash out with Maddie. But
Yeah.
like if realistically, I'm thinking like if they're playing like this right now, you know, that fourth or fifth. I really wish they would be turning around in 2 days and playing another ACC team. I
Uh-huh.
think after a game like this, the girls want to get back out there. When you talk to a lot of they would
Yeah.
rather just get
Yeah.
back on the court and show everybody this isn't who they are, right? But I know they're
Right,
going to have
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
UNCW into town, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta play the next ACC game is against Boston College, and they have to go to Boston College on the
Yeah.
29th. So, um, uh, they just they have to work on I don't know what's the issue with shooting free throws and the turnovers. Um,
And it's
but
not even like their turnovers, like, the team's playing really solid defense against us.
yeah,
They
the
just are
turnover, yeah, yeah,
careless
yeah.
turnovers.
They're just careless.
Careless passes.
Yeah. We had
Like throwing
16.
the ball out of bounds. Like, I don't understand it.
What is
As a
their
team, as a team, we had 13 assists to 16 turnovers.
That's
do we?
so bad, dude.
What's their free throw percentage on the season so far? Do y'all know that by chance?
I thought I
I
had
mean,
it.
last time we checked, wasn't it like really around 50%?
Yeah,
Like
something
every
like
game
that.
they're
I'm
around
looking
50%.
now.
I'd like to know what is compared to between like a 3-year marker, right? And get an overview of what it's been like.
Mhm.
But I feel like that has been an issue, because I can just remember walking back from games and being like, man, that's
Yeah. Let's see. For the
it.
season,
For the season, we're at right now 63.9% on the season free throw percentage. And then
mhm.
let's go to last year.
I mean, that's got to be a drop off.
Last year we were at 66.
Maybe not then.
The year before that we were at 66. The year before that, so now we're looking at 2022 to 2023, 41%. No, that's field goal. Sorry, 67%.
Mhm.
So
Then
we're just
we'll just go all the way back to when Bankart started coaching, which was 19. 21 to 22, free throw percentage was 70%. And then 2021 season, it was 72%. And then 19, which was her first year, was 73%. So this year is the worst year so far.
The worst year so far.
That's
63%, which I think is roughly 3% off of their second to worst.
Now, I can't speak to what coaches do to help their players with free throws, but my coach, when I played basketball, did not play about missing layups and free throws. They kept track of how many free throws you missed in a game and how many layups you missed. Because when you got to practice, that is how many either laps or suicides you were doing in practice before you went home. So I was the one that was making free. It's the reason why when I go to places like Dave and Buster's or little arcades where you can play the little pop shots, you shoot the little, I can make them in my sleep. To this day, it is still instilled in muscle memory on how to make a free throw, because I did not want to run, and I sure as hell did not want to do nobody's suicide.
Yeah, we did something similar. So we would have each person had to shoot a free throw, and whoever missed, like everybody had to run a suicide.
Everybody had to go.
And I mean, there's like 15 people. So I mean, you're going down the line, and of course, like it's a pressure free throw too, because you don't want your teammates running. So it's like you have to make it.
Because we're gonna get you in the locker room. We're gonna let you have it in the locker room. We gotta keep running for you. Yeah, you gonna get this work in the locker room.
Yeah, and there was this one girl that would literally every single time miss, literally without a doubt. Like, and it was never close.
And if it wasn't that, then it was my mother in the stands. I know you ain't embarrassing me missing these daggone free throws. Free throws are free.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking it up so y'all can cringe a little bit more.
Oh, thanks. You're just gonna help Maddie with her crash out. Chris, Maddie is planning a wedding. She is already probably bridezilla.
Sorry, I love stats and analytics.
I mean, I do too. We love it here. That's what we did.
I love scouting and film.
Yes.
I'm almost there. So while I do know one that I wanted to mention already, so I'll go ahead and show you that, and then y'all can keep talking about it if you want. But in the ACC right now, team free throw percentage, Carolina is ranked 17th out of 18 teams, sitting at 63% percentage, and Duke is last. The best team right now is shooting 81%, and that's Stanford. So we're next to last.
I'm good, Maddie, breathe.
That's crazy.
We're better than Duke.
Yeah, but if you think about it,
I'm trying to keep her from crashing out, Chris. Chris, you're not helping.
Duke,
you're not helping.
Duke is okay. Just to put it into a little bit of perspective, Duke is 63-7, and we're 63-9. So we're only like point 0.00 1.
So we're just barely
2% better, and they have shot 21 more free throws than we have on the year.
Okay, so that doesn't help at all. Never mind.
All right, I'm looking in all of college basketball right now, and I'm way past the 250 mark.
Okay, don't look no further. Let it go, Chris.
I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, we've been saying it's an issue, but that's crazy. Wow,
diabolical.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
At a point, like, are we ever going to get better? Because it's been the same, and it's almost the new year.
So, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this. Now, is this as far as women's basketball can go?
Well, that at Carolina,
I
mean, it depends. Are we talking like as a university or as a coach? Might want to rephrase that just a little bit for me, if you like. I mean, because like I will go back to Michael Jordan said, the ceiling is the roof. And so that's what I always tend to agree upon, is
It
that the
is.
ceiling is the roof
Well, are we at the
at
ceiling?
UNC.
As with Coach Bancroft, are we at the ceiling? Are we as far as she can go? Which way? I
Um,
think Sweet 16 is the furthest she's went.
I mean, in episodes like this, right? This is the moment where you got to be careful because, like, you can get clipped, right? Like this early in the
Oh yeah,
season. But I mean, it is what it is. When you do stuff like this, you put yourself out there, and you're going to get clipped eventually, and that's fine, right? Doing this podcasting's hard, right? And so, man, it sure does feel like that, though. I mean, like, just being honest as it relates to like year on year on year, we continue to get good recruits. And the games that we feel like we should win, we don't show up. Right? Definitely that Georgia Tech loss that came at around the same time as last year.
yeah,
Like I said, like that felt very resembling to me of how the team came out and prepared right after exams. And so, like, why was somebody not on the staff thinking about that? Like, hey, coming out of exams, this is what the team played like last year. What can we do different
Mhm.
so we don't do what happened last year against Georgia Tech when they were ranked 25th? There's no reason why we should have lost that game. And in my opinion, there should have been no reason why we lost this game this year.
Absolutely.
Now,
No
I
way.
think I think I have to take a step back and ask myself this. I think this team looks a lot different.
Yes.
Well, there's two things. Last night it just fell off. Okay, I don't think last night's game is gonna. I hope it isn't, but I truly don't think it's gonna be a resemblance of the season.
I agree with.
But I'm
Yeah.
not ready to make a judgment on this current staff until after. I know it sounds really crazy, but if they can keep this full team together, even with the seniors leaving, but if you give me Laney Grant's a sophomore, right? So if you give me Laney Grant as a senior, and then also the number one recruit in the nation coming in next year as a sophomore, and then some of
Mhm.
those other also pieces like Sierra Toomey, Bianca
Right.
Thomas, if she can stay healthy,
Right.
Indy Navarre, Tyler Henderson, and then also whatever top recruits that come in along that and portal, you give
Mhm.
me that. That's when I believe that this staff has to be judged. Can they put it? Because I can see the vision.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can I
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
see
I
the
can definitely
vision
see it.
in the recruiting, but I think for this year, it's really early. But I really think, and they know it. You can saw it when they were in the portal. They really tried to go after and get a big,
Yeah. And
and
yeah,
and
I
you
know.
can
Yeah.
see the impact that that's had on this team.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, this team kind of it gives me the feel of the men's team last year. We were missing a true center.
Yeah. I think yes. I do think like if you just put talent, like I think this team's better than last year's, and I don't think that's what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. Talent was. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think just like roster construction wise, I
Mhm.
just really wish we had a healthy Blanca Thomas. I would love to see what I
Absolutely.
would love to see what that looks like because we saw flashes of it last year.
Yeah. I hope we can see a healthy Renaya Kelly.
I hope so.
But I get why. I have a feeling that the reason that she's in the game as much as she is, and I'm speaking on Renaya, I feel like the reason she's in the game as much as she is because of what she does defensively.
Yeah,
And
scrappy. Yeah,
yeah, she's scrappy
Yeah.
and uh moving the keeping the tempo of the game and being able to bring the ball up the court. Because when she's not in the game, the offense does they look stale. They look like they don't know what they're doing.
yeah. I mean,
So I understand it's just points wise, like we do need some we're gonna need some production. And I would hate for her to be in the game. Yes, you're giving us something on the defensive end, but if you're injured, I would prefer you getting healthy because I'm gonna want you
Yeah,
I
there's no
want
need
everything that
to
'cause I know you can give more than what you're giving.
there's no need to keep the injury lingering because you keep playing.
Yeah.
You can get
yeah. I
healthy.
think and I don't want to harp on this game so much, but I would love just as the season goes on, I would like for this team to establish some hard cuts to the basket, put the ball in a
Yeah.
playmaker's hand and get to the basket, create a foul, or go for it. And that person, in my opinion, is Nyla Brooks.
It
So
is.
if she said something that you didn't like,
Yep.
you bring her out of the game, coach her up, say, like, settle back in. This is what I don't like. This is what I would like to see. Let's keep
Right.
going. Don't
Right.
shot her confidence. Don't shoot her confidence down, right? I don't think Nyla Brooks is there yet, right? But because she's a gamer, she wants to be on the floor. But if I'm coaching and look, I'll just say this: Banghart has like X's and O's of a basketball court way beyond than I'll ever be able to. Like, I know just like a penny amounts of what she knows, right? And how she sees the game. But I would go to Nyla Brooks and say, coach her up and say, go get a basket. Cause you can tell just how she moves. She's a natural player, natural ball player, fluid in the hips. I mean, like, she can go to the basket, make somebody miss. You know, she's also got the strength already as a true freshman. And go get a basket, put the ball on the floor and go get a basket. Settle her back in. And that team didn't do that. Even taking, her out of the equation, I didn't really feel like there was a natural bucket getter.
Nope.
Yeah. Didn't see it at all. Absolutely.
We've kind of been saying that all season, though. Like, we don't have that person that we can just say, you know what, go get a basket right now.
Yeah.
We don't have somebody like that.
And I really feel like there wasn't one last year either.
No.
Other than giving the ball to God dang and having her get to the.
Yeah. I think you can say God dang, her lethal, that, like, whatever she would do, you like that? You like that?
Exactly what it was.
She do that fake and then come back around.
Yeah.
I would also like to see, I think Lainey Grant, I'm a big fan of Lainey Grant. Been following her since she committed or right before she committed. Heck of a ball player. I think she's got a lot more to show.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I do agree with you, Chris. I don't think yesterday's game is the testament to the season. Like, this is this is what we got.
It's definitely not.
Well, can I add one more thing? I will say this. I hope it's not. I said, can I add one more thing? I say I hope it's not. But then again, I am concerned because this is the third matchup against the top 25 component. We haven't put it together.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder. We're a good team, but we're only good against talent that's.
I think because if you look back at the UCLA game, at halftime, it was a close game. We were up 7 on Texas. So there are glimpses where you're like, okay, I could see it. But then they just don't have a complete game. That's the problem.
Maintain it. It's almost like a team. So just like we said, Maddie, in the last episode about Texas, Texas made one adjustment in the second quarter. They just put size down and they shut down the paint. It's like, once a team sees that we're able to get to the basket, if they shut down the paint and push us out, all they do is this is zone defense and make us shoot.
So that's when you got to ask yourself, right, and start really looking at the box scores, right, and looking at each quarter and how they're broken down and the scoring, which coaches are making adjustments and which ones are not, right? Like, talking about that UCLA, that's a really good point, Maddie. Like, think about last night. If you look at the first quarter, it's Louisville, only winning by 2, 26-24.
Yep.
What happened after that first quarter?
Yeah,
I believe, Coach Walls for Louisville had to make some adjustment. Didn't like how his defense was playing or something, made an adjustment. Maybe we did, it didn't work, or we didn't make one. But after that, we only scored 9 points. You don't just go that cold.
Yeah.
An adjustment's made.
Yep.
And then we score 18, and then we score 15. Then we score 0.
Yeah. I mean, nothing. Oh.
I mean, tip your cap to. I mean, you can only tip your cap to Louisville. They came in, traveled here. They had 5 days to prep for this game. I looked it up. They had 5 days. We had 5 days. They traveled.
Yeah.
They came in and made the adjustments and got the dub.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to be prepared to make, because you're gonna have to make, like, you can have you can watch film and watch a team and watch how they play, and you can game plan, but once the game starts, it may be different. So you may have to make an in-game adjustment. And I don't think I see that enough from Coach Bankart. I don't think I see that enough. And maybe I'm overlooking it, but I definitely said it against the Texas game. I said they
There was
didn't
no
do anything
adjustments
really.
during that game. There
Yeah,
was
we
not
made
one
no
adjustment
adjustments.
made.
The only thing they did was put a big in there. And when you listen to them talk about her, they was like, yeah, they put her in and she did what needed. I don't even think she's a starter. The big that they put in, I don't think she was a starter.
She's not a starter.
The coach only put her in because of her size and said, stay down there, don't let them go. And when you get the ball on the offensive end, you just go up because the only thing they can do is foul you. You're bigger than everybody there.
Who was that? What player are you referring to?
I think her last name was is it Oldacre? I think that's her last name.
I think so. Yeah, she's like a fan favorite. They all love her there because she's like that energizer player that comes off the bench.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see Barry, Jones, and Scott. That's their last names.
Her last name is Oldacre from Texas.
Oh, from Texas. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Louisville. My bad.
Texas. No, this was a Texas game. That was the only adjustment they made. That's why she wasn't in the game like that in the first quarter. I don't think.
Nope.
They were able to get to, but when they put her in, her job was to shut down the paint.
Yep.
And it worked because we were at that point. They started guarding us out further. They wasn't letting us get to the basket. And it was like, yeah, you're gonna settle. If you're gonna shoot, you're gonna shoot a jump shot.
Yeah, if you look back at the box score for our team's stats versus Louisville versus UNC, you potentially had kind of maybe not for the same reasons, but Hardy, number 9, started for Louisville, only played for 7 minutes, 4 points, did have 3 fouls in those 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But Nyla Brooks didn't start, but had 8 minutes, and they both roughly averaged the same per game.
Yeah,
and start about and have about the same amount of minutes per game.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is that they made an adjustment somewhere. They pulled her out for some reason. Maybe it was he saw that she had 3 fouls and putting.
Yeah.
I mean, their bench had 21 minutes, 24 minutes, and 26 minutes, right? That's their 3 bench players that had those averaged their minutes. And maybe he saw what he liked from them and stuck with it, but it seemed to work for them.
Yeah. But sometimes it's game by game too. When you sometimes you can play certain players against certain teams and depending on the matchup. And I'd use this example. I've used it before because of when my daughter played basketball. My daughter is not tall at all. She's short, but she's super fast. So when she played basketball, she was the point guard, and she's not easy to guard because she's hard to keep up with. And we played against the team, and the guard that they had, she was not a bad guard. She was good. She just could not catch my daughter. And in the first quarter, she had 3 fouls. Her coach immediately pulled her out. And he didn't do when he brought her back into the game, he did not have her guarding my daughter. He had somebody else. He had someone with a little bit more size. It didn't change anything because again, she's super fast. You got to catch her. You can't, and they couldn't catch her. So, but yeah, so sometimes when you're playing different teams, sometimes you'll see a matchup and you'll be like, okay, yeah, this is not going to work. We got to get you out of here. We got to get somebody else in to do this. So I think it just varies. And there, so like you said, that maybe he saw something. He saw like, yeah, we can't put you in here. So we're going to get you out. We're going to get her in because she's going to do this to do that. So I do think that with Nyla, I think she should have put her back in. Like you said, coach her up, put her back in, and just let her play. Sometimes you can't really just throw some players into a system and have them just run a set play. Sometimes you really got to just let them play their game at times.
Yep.
Maddie, we can't see you. Y'all like when you look dark.
I think it's because the sun is going down or whatever. I need to turn my light on over there. I just haven't gotten up.
I forget you're like 2 hours
yeah,
behind us. So yeah. But yeah. My 5 cents.
We'll see. We got what should be some easy dubs coming up, but again, you just never know.
You got to win that game at Boston College after UNCW
Oh yeah, you
and
can't go. You
Charleston
can't start 0-2 in the ACC. That's
at
no
Boston
good.
College.
It's California's ACC, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's at home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's at home. That's on New Year's Day. You
Then
going to the games, Chris?
Yeah, we can talk after this episode. I will have some tickets this week if you want them, but we can talk when you get done.
Oh yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty tough after that. I mean, Cal coming to town. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. 12 p.m. game, and then you have Stanford, Notre Dame, Notre Dame at Notre Dame, currently ranked 20th. Maybe that would be our first top 25 win. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. Notre Dame is they're tough. I mean, of course, you got Hannah Hidalgo, who is almost unguardable at this point. I mean, yeah. So that'll be a good test for us. And it's on the road, so it'll definitely be a good test. Hopefully, they go to Boston College and take care of business. I mean, with UNC Wilmington and Charleston Southern, they're both home games. They should take care of business.
Yes.
They should take care of business on that. I don't. And I feel like those are the games that you can really get your reps in. Like, get your bench players in. Let your bench players get some reps. Yeah. Let them get the in-game reps, because that is how you get better. Yes, of course, practice, but playing in a game, applying what you've learned in practice into an actual game is how you get better. So, yeah, I'm hopeful.
I mean, it's too early to crash out. I don't like not having a top 25 win yet, but it's too early in the ACC, so we'll see.
There's a lot of games to be played. So now, if you come on an episode in February and I'm still talking about free throws, then I might be crashing out. Yeah,
she's actually gonna crash out anyway, Chris.
Yeah, so, it happens.
Yeah,
she might not do it up here.
I mean, I crashed out all football season, so let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say a prayer for you, because I can only imagine. I probably would have crashed out all season too. I just thought I crashed out and then I stopped watching. Well, I watched a little bit, but yeah, we can't crash out. So, but we appreciate you coming on, Chris.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I've had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. It's always good to talk some Carolina women's basketball. So thanks for the opportunity. I'll be sure to share the episode out once it's published.
Yeah, we're gonna put you out there. But yeah, we got some more things lined up with Heels in the Paint. Of course, Chris, we're gonna have you back again.
Okay,
hopefully.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. I would love to. Anytime, let me know.
No, yeah, we'll have you back for sure. I think, especially because you do like women's basketball, it's always nice to have like a male perspective too. Sometimes instead of just having us, because like obviously we probably think similar since we both played, but like having a different kind of perspective is nice.
Yeah, it is harder. I feel like it's hard though, because like when you're as a male and you're trying to give your thoughts on the game, I can go out there and say, I feel like this basketball player might need to put on, he needs to have his weight adjusted a little bit. Like when you're talking football, right? And he comes in, there's good weight and there's bad weight. Definitely when you're talking about, someone that plays at the 5 position, that should be talked about regardless of the gender that you are. But unfortunately, I stray away from that just because I get super uncomfortable talking about that.
Well, that's valid.
That makes sense. I gotcha. That makes sense. But yeah, it's always good to get different perspectives. And it's always good to have men watching women's hoops. Because I've heard a lot of men say, "Oh, it's just so boring. It's this, is that." I'm like, whatever, shut up.
Just so I would just say back, if you don't like women's basketball, then you're not really a basketball fan.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're just a casual.
You're a casual fan.
And I would respect you more if they said that. I mean, get out my head, Chris.
And I'll say that somebody, I have no issues with that. I mean, like, if you don't like women's basketball and like all you watch is men's, you're just a casual, in my opinion. Somebody might say that to me because I don't watch the NBA. Like I just don't like the scheme and how the league is ran overall. I mean, I know there's set plays and schemes and all that type of stuff, like just like college ball, but it's hard to see it. It's hard to break it down.
I don't see that until the playoffs,
right? But men's and women's, I love women's because like if there's gonna be an opportunity to die for a ball, you're gonna see it
every time, and it don't matter how meaningless the game is.
Every time it'll happen.
Yeah, it was like last night. I can't remember what player it was, but there was a player that I mean, they dove like 4 feet away. I mean, it won't even near them. They dove for it. She was diving. I was like, "You're not getting that."
Yeah,
you're not getting that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. You're not a true basketball fan if you don't watch women's basketball. And that's, I mean, I'll watch the NBA, but until college basketball is over, I'll start watching NBA after All-Star break more, but I'm not tuned in until after college basketball because I mean that's about the only basketball I can watch until women's basketball start, and then they have all of my attention.
Yeah.
So, but thanks again, Chris. We done kept you away from your family long enough. Thank your wife for.
She's texting me.
Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm about to send him back. I'm sending him home now. So thanks again. Until next time, we'll see y'all in the next go round in the paint. We out.
Go Heels.
Oh crap.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It literally
there's always some every episode.
Every episode. Like, what is up? I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. It does the most. It's literally frozen.
You got the end button at the top.
I did. I pressed it, but it won't even let me do it.
Okay. Well, I can remove myself. Tink, just text me if you want some tickets for, I think, Wednesday. I play it Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
I got 5 if you want them.
Ooh, got you.
All right. Thanks for having me. I'll see y'all.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your night.
All right. See ya. Bye. Go Heels.
Hold on, Maddie. I'm trying to find it.
So weird.
I can't even find StreamYard. Like it is completely now. It's completely gone.
I wonder if I can. No, I can only just leave. I can't do anything.
This is insane,
dude. This is weird.
Like it's like giving me a whole new thing. Like, let's see. Close this out. Close this out. What if I close out? I don't want to go. I don't even see. Like it's not even there. Like what is going on?
I can't see anything on mine.
Okay. Maybe I just gotta close the camera. This is gonna suck because then I'm gonna have to edit the video and like cut it, which is gonna suck. There. Oh my god! Now there it is. Okay, now I'm gonna hit end. Lame.